Hey everyone, hope you're having a great day. Today we are talking about mental health again, and we're talking about coping skills this time, which are strategies we use to handle our emotions and the challenges in our life. So this is also based on the mental wellness course from EverFi. So if you want more information, just check out that course info in the description. But let's get started. All right, so the goal for today is to better equip you to handle the stresses and challenges in your life, particularly like emotional, psychological things. We're all gonna face problems and issues and challenges in our life, so we can't avoid everything. We can try as we might. There's gonna be some things that we run into. So in order to be happy and healthy, you're gonna have to learn how to bounce back from negative things happening in your life because it's just a fact that they're gonna happen sometimes. So in order to lay the foundation for coping skills, which like I said before are strategies that we use to handle our emotions and feelings, we have to talk about positive and negative cycles. So a negative cycle is basically when something negative happens to us and then our reaction to it makes it worse for ourselves and then also maybe leads to more negative situations in the future. And a positive cycle is basically just the opposite of that, to where we are proactive about things, so we are guarding and equipping ourselves against negative things happening. And then once things do happen, we react in a way that improves the situation for ourselves and then leads to better outcomes in the future. So with both of these cycles, with negative and positive cycles, a big part of those is self-talk, or just how we think to ourselves whenever things happen in our daily life. So you might not realize it, but you have a lot of thoughts all the time during the day. You might take a bite of a hamburger and you might have a thought of, wow, this is really delicious. Or, you might roll into a test and you're starting the test and you might think to yourself, oh my gosh, I have no idea what I'm doing. You might not register those thoughts and maybe you're not fully aware of them all the time, but they are there. And so your thoughts and the way you talk to yourself is going to have a negative or positive impact on you. So with negative cycles, they're going to be caused by negative self-talk. So that's going to be self-talk that is discouraging or hurtful towards us. So let's say you make a mistake and then your self-talk is, man, why do I do this? I always mess up. So in order to talk about negative cycles and negative self-talk and understand them a little bit better, let's look at the different types of negative self-talk that can maybe lead to negative cycles. All right, so there's 5 different types of negative self-talk, and the first one is fortune telling, which is just assuming that you know exactly what's going to happen whenever really you don't know what the outcome is going to be. The next one is catastrophizing. So that's based off the word catastrophe, which is just a disaster or a terrible event. And catastrophizing, it's kind of hard to say, is when you basically, something happens and you just imagine the worst case scenario. So something happens to you and you're like, oh, well, that's going to lead to this, to this, to this, to this. And you just imagine the worst possible case scenario. All right, the third one is mental filtering. So that's whenever something is said to you and you sort of like filter out different aspects of what is said to you and then you keep other parts of it. So in negative self-talk, that mental filtering is whenever we filter out all of the positive things or constructive things in what's said to us, and we only hold on to the negative parts of this. All right, the fourth type is all or nothing thinking. So that's just thinking about things in black and white. It's either this or this. And then you also, this is gonna allow you to use a lot of words like always or never or every time. Whenever that really is an exaggeration. These things don't actually happen every time. But with all or nothing thinking, you're kind of convincing yourself like, yes, this does happen literally every time, whenever it actually maybe doesn't. All right, and then the fifth and last type of negative self-talk is personalization. So that is, taking things personally. So you're just assuming that things are your fault whenever they really weren't, whenever they really had to do with other factors, but you're just kind of taking them on yourself. Okay, so if those sound familiar to you, you might be creating some negative cycles for yourself. But the good news is that these are your thoughts. These are happening inside your brain that you have control over. We don't have control over what happens to us. We have control over how we react to it. So It's gonna take some time because a lot of the thoughts that are happening, they're almost automatic. Like something happens and then bam, you have this thought. But if you really work at it, it's gonna take some time and effort. But you can change the patterns in the way you think, and then that will kind of help you break some negative cycles and create some more positive cycles.